Okay, another movie review. This time we have Mad Max Fury Road from 2005, directed by George Miller, written by George Miller, Brendan McCarthy, and Nico Lathoris, and starring Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy, Nicholas Hoult, Hugh Keays-Byrne, Rose Huntington. Oh, I'm sorry, Rose Huntington Whiteley, Riley Coe, Zoe Kravitz, Abby Lee, and Courtney Eaton. Okay, so the premise of Mad Max Fury Road, most people are probably familiar with it, the Mad Max franchise already. Basically, it's set in a near future post-apocalyptic world. Society is broken down, resources are very scarce, and society is kind of like deteriorated to, or kind of broken down to various feudal tribes and warlords and small communities and things like that. Max is basically a drifter in this world, and he basically comes across different people in different situations. And basically, these movies are about him dealing with these characters he meets and obstacles that he has to overcome and whatnot. The beginning of this one, Max has been captured by the War Boys, who are these sort of young men soldiers who work for an overlord named Joe, who runs a place called the Citadel. And we get to see that Joe is kind of, kind of a dictator, kind of rules things with an iron fist. He has kind of taken control of all the clean water in the area, and he's really parceling it out very very small amounts to the people. We see lots of emaciated and dirty people live in the Citadel, in the community or whatever. And it seems that Joe is basically hoarding all the resources for himself and his little inner circle. Mad Max is kidnapped because supposedly he has clean blood or whatever, and the War Boys basically use him to give transfusions to keep themselves healthy. Charlize Theron plays a character named Furiosa, who basically works for Joe. I guess her job is to go to the next town to get gas for their society. We find out pretty quickly though that instead of going to get gas, she's actually helping uh, the 4 or 5 wives of Joe escape. Basically, Joe has these wives, and they're really just there to become breeders for him. And very apparently, they've had enough, and they want to escape. So we have Max wants to escape, of course, and Furiosa and the wives want to escape. And we kind of see them at first kind of being at odds, then learning to work together as Joe's men and various other people within this future world are trying to capture them or kill them or what have you. Okay, now I really like this movie. I really enjoyed it. I think as far as an action suspense film, it delivered on pretty much every way it's supposed to. You have interesting characters, you have good special effects, good stunts. I was on the edge of my seat for most of the film. I was never looking at my watch or going, "Oh, this is the slow part" or anything like that. Like I said, lots of great stunts, lots of, I would say, inventive stunts and inventive action scenes. And it, like I said, it really works in the way that it's supposed to. One thing I wanted to touch upon was a thing I kind of glanced at a couple reviews where some people are saying the movie kind of has a feminist subtext to it, and I don't 100% agree with that, but I don't 100% disagree with it either. I can sort of see how somebody might watch this movie and maybe kind of come away with that feeling. Um, I agree with something else I saw online, though, where one person says that really speaks to how women are sometimes written in action movies and things like that. I think it has more to do with comparing this movie to other movies of its kind, as opposed to any sort of hardcore politics that George Miller may have had in mind. And by that, what I mean is a lot of times in action movies, even if it's a positive portrayal of women, sometimes you'll just get that one woman, even if it's not, well, you'll get somebody who's, the girlfriend or the love interest, or you'll have the damsel in distress. Or even if you get like a female badass, she'll be that one female badass, and there won't be a whole lot of other women in the movie who really contribute to the plot in a big way. I think with this film, you have several different women who represent several different ideas. Of course, you do have women who are the damsel in distress, but you also have the badass. You have people who are there to be eye candy, plus you have people who are more the nurturers. Then you have people who are someplace in between that. There are other characters that represent other ideas of femininity as well. So, and I think that's real interesting. Anyway, another interesting thing is it seems like the side characters are the characters who have actual character arcs and actual development, as it were. Whether it's there's Furioso, there's the one war boy whose name I can't remember right now, and a couple of brides or whatever are the characters that start at one place in the beginning of the movie and are changed by the time you get to the end of the movie, while Max himself actually kind of stays static, which I think is fine. That's not a criticism. I just think that's another interesting thing about the movie. And that's like I said, that's kind of the deal with these films anyway. Max is a change agent possibly, but he doesn't change. He changes the situations and that he finds himself in, and changes the other people he comes in contact with. So I think that was another, like I said, interesting aspect of the film. But yeah, like I said, the plot is very stripped down, very lean, not tons of twists, or is that what I want to say? Not tons of twists or overly complicated. That's what I want to say. But it works. I think it more than makes up for it in tone and layers and symbolism and things like that. And I just thought it was a great film. Okay, that's it. I got to thank you very much for listening, and you have a good day.